I can't say the same for Cebu, because if you drink water in Cebu, it has a funny taste because the water in Cebu is already infiltrated by salt water. Okay, this is attributed to the type of soil we have in Cebu. It is limestone, and limestone is so porous you cannot hold water inside limestone. So the problem here is the malpractice here is that most sites are designed to use potable water only once and then they are thrown away. Okay. So as we recognize the value of water, we must also recognize the value of natural systems to store, clean, and distribute available fresh water. And I'm not talking your neighborhood drinking station. We're talking about Earth, okay? We're talking about nature. We have technology to integrate systems that mimic nature's capacity to store, filter, and clean water. So here are the good practices in hydrology. Number one, balance your water budget, meaning to say, input should be equivalent to output. Measure the outputs. How much water do you need? And then use only that much. Okay? Incorporate water infiltration into the site design. This is the new technology. It's probably being done in many places by sheer ignorance or by sheer accident. But now, we will put value to landscape design practices where water is allowed to seep into the ground rather than into the drains. Okay? So, a rain garden is a garden that allows rain to seep into the ground. This is an example of a filter strip, meaning to say, in an area that is largely paved, allow water to drain here rather than into a drain inlet of a street. Okay? Of course, reuse water. Kahit paano, we will always have wastewater, but if you follow the rule of reducing the amount of wastewater, then that's already good. But whatever wastewater you generate, you reuse it. So the picture shows two faucets, one that shows potable and the non-potable. Okay. And non-potable water can be used in the landscape for irrigation, for cleaning garages, and also for feeding water into water features. Now, another good practice is to clean and slow the flow of water in order to protect and enhance downstream bodies. So wherever you have a site that has a water body nearby, a river, a creek, don't try to be in a hurry to dump water into the creek, but slow water down and allow it to filter so that whatever excess goes into the water body, the natural water body, it will not be, it will be cleaner and with less pollutants. Okay. So if you try to practice that, you see that a garden, a landscape like this, is provided with interceptor vegetation. So it is the vegetation that's a drain. Okay, it slows down. There's actually a drain here, and whatever water goes into the drain is just the excess of the runoff, but the rest are brought back to the soil. And whatever excess is brought into the drain, it's already cleaner. Okay. Now we'll go to soils. You're probably not very familiar with soils the way landscape architects are meant to be. But in the food chain, if you think about the food chain, where the start of the food chain is a little plant that is consumed by animals, and the animal consumed by more animals until it is consumed by us. Okay, as the human beings in the food chain consume both animals and plants, right? But if the soil is bad, there will be no plants. So to me, the food chain starts from good soil. Okay? Because soils are essential for production of food, timber, medicines, fibers, and other raw materials. And in my definition of renewable natural resources, soils is number one there. Another function of soil is to clean, store, and recharge groundwater. So together with hydrology and later on vegetation, soils, hydrology, and vegetation work together as a complete ecosystem Okay? Why we need soils as part of our sustainable sites is because soils remove or transform pollutants from water and air into less harmful materials because it contains the microbes that break down or convert pollutants into more benign substances. So, normally, when we look at soil or even touch soil, we say, kadiri, di ba? It's very yucky to hold soil. It's dirty. It may be dirty to us, but it is clean and a friend to an enemy to pollutants. It is our friend because they destroy the toxins in the soil. So current bad practices in soils, and I'm sure a lot of us are guilty of this. We compact the soil too much by the use of heavy machinery during construction. And in the process, we degrade the soil structure, we destroy the soil structure, and reduce its infiltration rate. So think about it. Compaction also reduces the spaces for oxygen and water inside the soil, making it difficult for plant and vegetation to restore. Okay? It also reduces the growth of roots and its access to water and nutrients inside the soil. So we need the soil to help support vegetation. If we want good landscapes, if we want landscapes that contribute to sustainability, we have to start first with soil. Another bad practice, removing and disturbing vegetation in soil clearing, site clearing. Diba, site clearing, we always say, remove all the vegetation there. Now, the reason why we do that is because we want to see the site in its, to see the topography, to remove the ugliness of any rough vegetation. But, you know, it's very simple to discern topography without removing existing vegetation because the vegetation there is doing a very important function, including keeping the soil from eroding, keeping the soil from running off with the water. So please be more gentle with the ugly vegetation in your site next time you visit a site. If you really want to know what's happening on top of the ground, just remove a little bit of the top, but don't destroy the roots. Okay? Disturbing the soil also releases significant amounts of organic carbon. Remember, carbon exists in the soil naturally. That's where we get our diamonds, remember? But the moment you scarify, you try to break the soil into parts, this carbon is released into the atmosphere. So, may kasalanan pa kayo because you have contributed to the emission of carbon for greenhouse gases. Okay. Sorry if I scare you with this, kinokonsensya ko pa yung lahat. Pero lahat tayo kasama ko doon. But this is good information, right? Because now we will take care of our soil better. Okay. Number 3 is when you remove topsoil. A long time ago, I also advocated this. Whenever construction happens, remove the topsoil. Okay, about 6 inches layer, stockpile it on one area, and then return it to the site for landscaping. We will not return it anymore for the building, but we can return it to the landscape parts. But it says here that it is bad because it also destroys the soil structure and hinders the re-establishment of healthy soils. Whenever the soil structure is disturbed, even if you return the original topsoil, there is very little value. I'm very sad to know this because I thought it's good practice. And here it says that when we bring in new soil from other sources, it's also bad. It's double hazard pala to remove topsoil, return it, and then to add topsoil from other sources. I don't know now how we can do that in landscape architecture when we really need to get soil from other sources. We will have to study this further. But just for our information,